kind of like an obsession. Yeah, it's like a kind of sickness, you know.
Be nice. All right.
It's out of control.
Nothing like I've ever been in before. It was just push and shove and madness.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like piranha. Hottest thing out there right now, and it's about the only way to get them.
What do you expect? It's the best movie of the century. Shelves are empty. Overall, I think it was a real good thing.
All right, it's one of those weeks that I'm kind of thankful it's lean, because as soon as I woke up this morning, hadn't even crawled out of bed, power went out. And it stayed out for a good 6-7 hours. To the point where I was coming to terms with the fact that the rewind might not happen this week. And I was like, okay, scrolling my phone, 5%, 3%, 1%. Then the power came back on right then. And I thought, it's time to talk about toys. So I'm Robo, I'm hot, I'm sweaty, the AC's still trying to catch up, but this here's the rewind, and it must go on. Just like we've done with the last few rewinds, let's kick it off with the LooseCollector Executive Replicas Coffin Comics Legacy Series. I was about to say update, but that doesn't feel right, because the last couple of images have been teases. There was super close up, there was a little pulled back. This week, I got the full pictures for you. Here is the full reveal of the next Lady Death in the line, and it was pretty much what we expected. Like we have talked about a couple of times now, a prototype was shown a few years back, so we had a general idea. Back during that reveal, they had stated that the head was being modified, was still being resculpted. At that time, it was reusing the original Lady Death head, and as we can see here, yes, it is a full new sculpt. Still Lady Death, still has the big hair, still has the pale skin tone, but it is a different sculpt. The hair has a softer quality to it, not quite as long as the original artwork, but that's probably to allow movement or stay out of the way of the wings and such. And I'll admit, I didn't realize that that was a scythe sticking off the side. I thought it was part of the wing spread, or it was part of the whole outfit or something. It's nice to see. Well, okay, I don't mind asymmetry, but man, this picture with just the wings, without the weapon accessory thing, whatever it is, that does look pretty damn good. But just to clarify, that accessory is still included. It was part of the second tease. For Wargoth, oh, look at this big piece of plastic man meat. And I'm kind of loving the barbarian renaissance we're going through at the moment. And, okay, this isn't your classic traditional barbarian type. Maybe I'm projecting that on this because of the axe and the skulls, but still, don't tell me this wouldn't look great next to all the big, muscly, bare-chested guys we've been getting. Or with Lady Death and La Muerta and Satanis and Hellwitch and the rest of the Coffin Comics Legacy series, as it should be. But if you're not into Coffin Comics, you can use this wherever you want. In fact, god dang it, I just had an idea. No pre-orders just yet, but we shouldn't have to wait too awful long. While we're talking LooseCollector and Executive Replicas, something a little further down the production line is their iconic heroes Captain Canuck. Captain Canuck? Yeah. Pick your poison. I think we went over this during the initial pre-order stage, where I don't know a dang thing about this character, but I really want it to stick in my Marvel display. I mean, can't you just look at this and think of it as an updated Vindicator or Guardian or an outlying Alpha Flight character? Just somebody to fill out that group. Don't need a name. It just has the maple leaves on it. It's red, it's white. Now, this isn't me trying to take anything away from Captain Canuck. It's just me doing my thing, where I try to justify my own purposes to fit my own needs. I just see an action figure, and if I kind of like it, I'm kind of interested. Seeing this new shot though, I'm assuming this is what we're getting out of the factory with the darker, deeper, richer metallic reds. Now granted, the original promo images were digital renders, so it didn't mean that's what the final product was going to look like. But comparing the two side by side, I think I'm liking the new colors better. That shine feels more premium, and that's not me just saying that because, well, this is what we're getting. We're gonna have to deal with it. I honestly think this looks better than what we saw before. And saying that, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this sometime soon, hopefully, if it's at this stage. If it's at the stage I think it is. Same goes for the LooseCollector The Crypt Bigfoot vs. Yeti, which is still in the teasing stages. Well, we have seen painted head sculpts for both. We've seen a grayscale output to show scale next to other figures. Now we get this shot of the Yeti walking off into the snow. Semi-hidden, but not quite. So we've essentially had all the building blocks to build the figure in our mind for what it looks like. But that doesn't stop me from wanting to see the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. What is coming? What is going on? Give me all the details. I want the full presentation. Actually, I say that, and looking at this picture, if we don't get a Bigfoot shot where it's off in the distance with a foresty background, slightly fuzzed, where we can see the figure but not quite, then I will be disappointed. But directly after that, I want the full photo spread, which leads us to pre-orders and then of course price. That's the next big question. How much are these blunt force trauma inducing huge chunks of plastic going to cost? I guess we're waiting to find out. On the subject of teases, it's almost time for the Medicom MAFEX monthly pair of pre-orders, and this go around, it's going to be themed Terminator 2. I don't have a MAFEX Terminator, so these aren't for me, but if you're in the market to expand your Terminator shelf, you're about to be in business. Well, when the pre-orders go up, and then when they actually ship, they get to your house, you open the box, you pull them out of the package, you mess around with them, see what's going on, put them on the shelf. That's when you're in business. But business starts here. You gotta work your way up to business. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. All right, by now you know the whole deal with the Mondo Real Ghostbusters. They were given a set of rules to follow. They're gonna do what they say can't be done. There's a price point. They're just throwing them out there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yes, they are expensive, but they solicited Peter, then they solicited Egon. This week, pre-orders for Winston go up, and you would think if they weren't doing really well, they would just say, oh, well, never mind, here's your refunds, or we're not gonna do any more, it's just gonna stop here. But they continue to make them, so I have to think on some level, it is a success for the company. That's not saying you're not justified in going, oh my God, woo, that's some sticker shock. That's a kick in the wallet, just, whoa. There's nothing wrong with saying that, but there's also people paying the prices. So, I mean, if people are buying them, then company's gonna make them. Here we are, staring down the barrel of a $404 set of Ghostbusters. If you're only buying the core characters with the mini ghosts. If you go for the Mondo exclusive timed sets with the big ass ghost included, that's $202 a set, which works out to, carry the knot, $808 for the core 4 and the core 4 ghosts. That's not even mentioning the fact that they have teased Janine. So this may go further than that. Cha-ching, 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 ching, ching, ching. Either way, they're out there if you're wanting them. And Winston and the Sandman look just as fantastic as the first two. I love the addition of the smaller ghost. It gives you a little bit more bang for your buck if you were just wanting the Ghostbusters themselves. But if you're not able to get the big pack with the big ghost, there's also a smaller representation of each of those ghosts getting sucked down into the trap. So you're not... That's the direction I went. I went with just the core Ghostbusters. I'm good with a little bit of big ghost, but not a whole big because of price and space and everything. So I'll be good with this. I feel like this is gonna be the best representation we will ever get of these characters in their animated looks. Hey, there's nothing wrong with waiting for Hasbro or someone else to do their own versions, if that's gonna happen. They'll probably be just fine. They'll probably be cheaper, maybe more articulated, but I look at these and I think, man, they walked right out of the TV screen. I've been buying less when it comes to random toys. As much as I talk about, hey, that's a good looking action figure, don't know nothing about it, but it looks cool and I'm gonna put it over here, over here, over here. I have been doing that less. Believe me. Real Ghostbusters, while not highest on my list when it comes to cartoons, is something I've always wanted in plastic form. I didn't like the Diamond Selects. The vintage is okay. This is exactly what I was looking for. So I'm gonna spend the money and hopefully never have to worry about this display ever again. You know, as we tend to do with all action figure lines. Yup, this is the ultimate version of this character. What? Stop it. Stop. Now, let's see Ray. Since we're talking expensive toys, we saw the Super7 ThunderCats. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Ultimate! Wave 13 Vultureman and Skycutter debut on the cover of Toy Collector magazine. This week, we saw the actual pre-orders. I've said it a few times. I say it every time ThunderCats comes up anymore. This line kind of left me behind. I watched the cartoon back in the day, but it wasn't highest priority. Kind of like Ghostbusters. I watched it because it was cartoons, and that's what we did. But I apparently didn't watch much past the first few episodes, or I don't remember a lot of the later characters and scenarios. Now, that's not me saying that the Skycutter and Vultureman are obscure. No, I recognize both of these, but I don't feel like I need either of these versions, especially with Vultureman being in toy colors. I never got a ThunderCats action figure until, no, I was gonna say Super7, but it was Bandai. Did they do ThunderCats before that? But only did a select few characters. So I'm pretty happy where my ThunderCats are right now. Again, not priority, and especially if it's in toy version. Then when it comes to the Skycutter, I think I said this when it debuted, and I think at that time I said, I'll probably be repeating myself when this comes back around up for pre-order. But even as a kid, I'd look at this and think, how does that thing fly? It's just a big piece of metal. There's no aerodynamic. Okay, as a kid, I wasn't thinking aerodynamics and such. I was just thinking, hey, cool toy. But even in that state, it's just kind of like, okay, I am slightly tempted, but probably not. Like I said, I'm not buying as much random stuff anymore so I can get what I really want. I'm just saying it opens up slots in my bank account for other things. Like maybe the LPZZ Arkham Knight Batman. Yes, pre-orders for this opened up several months ago, but new pictures popped up this week, and I think it's the same situation as Captain Canuck, where this is more production. This is more what we're gonna get, and it's still damn impressive. But sitting and looking and comparing, there are little changes, little things that make you think, okay, this is what we're gonna see out of the factory, because we're used to that kind of thing by now. Don't get me wrong, it still looks fantastic. The sculpt, the paint, the engineering, but take the cape. The prototype had a super smoothness to it, so much so that at the time I was wondering if they had come up with some kind of unstable molecules or invented a new element to get it to work like it seemed to work. In the new pictures, it still looks quality, but closer to what we're used to on finished products. The material textures are more apparent, less otherworldly and supernatural. The finish on the figure is ever so slightly shinier, like we see with factory plastics and assembly line paints, not the lovingly hand-painted prototypes that the initial pictures were. Finally, the unmasked heads, and don't get me wrong, they're still awesome, but they have those little noticeable things of factory paints. Again, I am not shitting on this whatsoever. It's awesome looking. The poses it can get, it's still reminding me of the in-art. When they first showed this, I thought it was in-art because I've had in-art in hand, and then I saw this and I thought, well, that's the same kind of mind-blowing joint system and articulation and paints and accessories and such, but no, this is LPZZ. I'm just pointing out that this may be close to production. This may be releasing right around the corner, and that's the reason we're getting newer pictures. That's all I'm saying. Link is in the description. Another thing I keep getting confused about is just how many Iron Spiders we've had in the Sentinel fighting armor line. There was the red and blue with the gold Waldos, what we usually think of when we picture Iron Spider just on the Sentinel standard body. Then there was the Onyx Stealth Tech version, that same sculpt from the red and blue, just in a sleek black and gold. I didn't find out till later that this was based on Aaron Davis's Iron Spider look from the comics, so that's cool. So when the fighting armor Miles Morales Iron Spider popped up this week, I did a little bit of research, and yep, that's from the comics too. A lot of the same parts, again, to beat that unconscious horse that is not quite perished, just on the brink. That's what Sentinel does with the fighting armor line. Everybody shares parts, and then they change up certain things to make it more like the character they're going after. And for Miles, they changed the head and the chest. I think what gets me the most though is the color scheme. I love these blacks and golds and reds. It's almost like taking the first two, mixing them together, pow, Miles. I especially like the fades on the Waldos. That adds so much and kind of makes me think of real life spiders. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to spiders. I just know I've seen pictures of a spider that is red and black on the legs, and it gives me that kind of creepy vibe, but I love it. Along with the golds and the blacks and the longer eyes and the different design on the chest, more prominent. Well, I've stopped buying just random things. Or maybe it's all fresh and new and I'm learning things I didn't know and I'm seeing things I hadn't seen, and it's that initial must have. So I'll probably sit on it for a few weeks, come back around, see if I feel the same way. And if I don't get it, that's cool. I looked at pictures, I admired, I appreciated, nothing wrong with that. I can look at the action figure roadmap. I don't have to travel to all these places. Here's where I usually am, here, here, and here, but I can look out here and kind of be, oh, okay, there's that out there too. A little window shopping never hurt anyone. Here's a cool toy. Let's get on with our lives. He says, after pre-ordering the Hasbro Marvel Legends Gamerverse Gargantos, or Shumagorath if you're nasty. I've talked about playing Marvel superheroes in the front room of Pizza Hut when I delivered there. That was my way to get out of dishes some nights. Just, oh, no, busy. And while I didn't play Gargantos very often, he was still in that game. It was still in the back of my brain somewhere. I think it was a different color though, was it? Yeah, I don't know. But the moving eyeball and the eyelids that open and close and the bendy tentacles and the little spiked eyeballs that you can put around. Yeah, why wouldn't I get this? Again, it's just a cool looking toy. A toy that can pull double duty, triple duty. If you're into fantasy, throw him over there. Maybe he's a big Star Wars thing behind characters. I don't know. They're yours. Play with them. And a lot of people looked at the price tag and went, oh, and I get that. I do. I really do. But when they presented this and the box and all the features and materials that they don't usually put into Marvel Legends, I thought, well, that's going to jump the price a bit. So I was prepared. I had my shoulder against that door of the bank, but also, there's not a lot of reuse potential here. They could release it in different colors. Other than that, there's nothing they could use. They can't put a Cerebro helmet on it or anything, or dress it up in an X-Men costume. It's Gargantos. It's Gargantos. Oh, and he was in the MCU, right? In Doctor Strange, so it can go on that shelf too. It may be a little bit comic booky for the finer details of those figures, but it still works. It's a big tentacled eye monster. If you need a big tentacled eye monster on your shelf, the link is in the description. I'll wait. Go ahead, go down, click. Go ahead and grab it. Or don't. Do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I'll still be waiting here though. Or we could talk about this week's Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series render reveal of Night Force, Quick Kick, and Beachhead. Yojo June has been a bit slow, a bit quiet. They were supposed to have a live stream last week. That was canceled. This week they talked about the comics. At the end, Lenny had what may or may not have been a clue when he said grape soda. Maybe that's just a reference to something else. I don't know. But this week we got this. I'm not much in for the variants. I have Quick Kick, I have Beachhead. Well, I say that. I have the original Beachhead with the lighter greens. I haven't decided if I want to get the retro carded one with the darker colors. It's calling my name, but I'll end up with it at some point. It'll be one of those, well, I haven't bought anything this week, might as well grab it. But when it comes to Night Force, I'm not as interested, but it's not all about me. If you're doing Night Force, here they come here. And that's it for this week, or that's all I got at this exact moment. Again, it's been a weird day. If I missed anything, we'll swing back around next week. As always, special thanks to the Nobots and the Nobodies, the Patreon and the channel members. I apologize for this going up late today, but I'm doing my best. I'm trying to get it up. I'm gonna get out of here, edit, and get it posted as soon as possible. This episode was almost a little bit longer. YOLO Park nearly got me talking Transformers. Their BotCon exclusive, well, it was Ladybug and then it was Cliff Jumper. I thought that was AMK series, the larger, not pro, like we saw with Bumblebee. I thought, hey, they colored it red, they gave him a different head. Could that possibly lead to Bumblebee in the shielded face? And then Cliff Jumper hits the main line with his regular head? Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. I psyched myself up. I hyped myself up. I psyched myself out. I even had it in the featured image for this rewind that I posted to Patreon yesterday. And somebody asked about Glyph, the other BotCon exclusive from YOLO Park that was in a 2-pack with Sound Blaster. And there I was like, no, that's the mini line. Wait, I better go back and look at this Cliff Jumper again. And sure enough, it was the mini line too. It's called AMK Mini. Why would you do that? You know, it's kind of like calling a Marvel line in 2 different scales Legends for both of them. Or 2 different scaled Star Wars lines Black Series. Who would do that? That's crazy talk. Hasbro would do that. And this is Transformers, so maybe AMK is a thing. There's AMK Pro, there's AMK now, and there's also AMK Mini. In my defense, the pictures were about this big. You zoomed in, you saw nothing except for the general shape and the color of the bot. Unfortunately, I'm not at Joe Fest this weekend. It seemed to be cool, everybody hanging out. I'm just here sweating, but that's okay. I'll see y'all in Joe Lanta in a few months. But I was able to grab the exclusive Big Bad Workshop Fresh Monkey Fiction Operation Monster Force Lieutenant Griffin the Eraser Electronic Detection Stealth Mode. So if you're at Joe Fest, you can pick this up in person. So grab one of those. It's cool, translucent, kind of smoky plastic. It makes me even more excited for the rest of the line, the figures coming up. The painted eraser. And I think the Donner Party is in this. Ooh, come on. But I have also been working on a play day, and here's a sneak peek of what's coming out. That's all you get. I am so happy with this Captain Britain. I wasn't expecting the lines to come out like this. I freehanded. And I know it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. That's what matters. So is that it? Is that all we got? Am I done rambling? Taking up enough of your time today? You could have been out buying toys right now or having fun, as you should be. But I appreciate you coming by and seeing me on a Saturday morning or Friday evening if you're on the Patreon channel membership. Hey, and while you're at it, subscribe. I know I never ask that, but hey, you're here anyway, right? We're talking toys. I think it's over there. I'm gonna keep pointing. And then I'm gonna fade away out to the side. Bye.